The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
If you're building or buying or selling a home, the Real Estate Crew's got news for you at the Real Estate House Party.
With attorney Rick Carter,
Real Estate House Party.
paralegal Kathy Holtshouser,
Real Estate House Party. Come in, have fun.
and comedian Tony V. Now, here's real estate attorney Rick Carter.
Welcome and thanks for joining us here on the Real Estate House Party.
Is that really Tony V in his cruise wear?
Getting ready.
He looks like Jimmy Buffett.
Getting ready.
He's ready to
Yeah,
go.
Heading to Margaritaville.
You're heading to Margaritaville.
Yes, I'm a parrot head deep inside.
You like Jimmy Buffett?
No.
Oh, I didn't think you would.
No.
That's why it's deep
No,
inside.
it's way deep. Well, he's my secret shame. You know what I mean? Like if
No, I don't know.
no,
Whoa,
like
whoa.
Now you're very loud.
Now I'm very loud.
like I don't embrace anything that's popular and people wear outfits. You know, but if I hear a Jimmy Buffett song, I'll
You
go.
don't
"Oh,
like
I
you don't like
that."
girls in coconut bras? Is that what you're saying?
It's been done.
It's been done by girls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we
I don't
introduce
wa-
our guests?
I don't want to.
Yes.
I don't want to.
Grass skirts.
I don't want to break my teeth on a brassiere.
Wow. Okay, our guest is.
I'm not saying I haven't. I just don't want to.
Again. You don't want to again.
Again, right.
Been there.
You don't want to. It shouldn't
there,
become
done that.
shouldn't become a trend.
And who's talking down at the end of the table
Well,
here?
since no one cares, this is Rick Nazzaro, Colonial Manor Realty, Reading,
Wow.
Not to be
Massachusetts.
confused with Colonial Manor
Nursing home.
Nursing home.
Although
Right.
we're getting there.
We're
let's
getting
face it.
there.
Right.
We are. We're all
You
going to
know,
be in the
yeah.
Colonial Manor
How many
nursing
years
home
you been
together.
a comedian? We should add up some years here.
Yeah, a lot of years.
We're 100 plus, or probably
No, more than that,
120.
120.
No, sir. 32.
Not 32.
30.
Yeah.
Nine.
all
So we're
all
high
all right,
90s.
maybe.
No, and then
Oh, and then Tony.
Tony.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
forget that.
yeah, over 100.
Sure, way
100
over
plus
100,
years
yeah.
of expertise.
Right.
You know, Colonial Manor, you could sell candles over there.
We
too.
could.
That'd be
But
a
Tony,
nice
you know, I was
little
thinking on the way here today, you're a comedian on a real estate show.
Yes.
I'm a real estate guy. I'd like to. Can I have a couple of your slots for stand-up?
Sure.
I think
It's not as easy as it looks.
Sure.
He makes it look
Anytime.
easy.
Anytime.
you know what I mean. I want to.
No.
You can start and say, "Look, I know you came to see me, but
Right.
this is a Make-A-Wish Foundation, so we're gonna have Rick, the realtor."
We have a young man here whose dream it's been to be a stand-up comedian.
Right.
And he's actually pretty funny.
See that?
Yeah, right.
That was funny
That's
right there.
funny
I
right
think
there.
I'm in.
And once you listen to him, you'll
Well,
know why it's only a dream.
Listen,
All right.
yeah. The next time we have a show that's real estate related, like when you put a show together, we'll put Rick on. I have
And
no
usually
problem
me
with
and Rick
that.
just bounce jokes off
Of
each other,
yeah.
and go hysterical
We think
laughing.
it's funny.
Yeah.
You're the
We
be-
think
are
it's
you each other's
hysterical.
best audience?
Yeah.
That's good though.
Yeah,
Keeps
it is.
you- keeps
I
you
don't
going.
even open my mouth and Rick starts laughing at me.
I do like
And I don't
people
know if he's laughing at me.
No,
or
no, no.
with
I like
me
people with
or-
good sense of humor. You know
Right.
that. I
I
laugh
know,
about all
right.
your stuff.
That's
Sure.
you, Joe.
And you crack me up once in a while.
Every now and again.
Every now and then.
I'll put a smile on your face. Sure.
He had a cold last week, and he's like, I started to tell him a story,
yeah, that
and
was
he
bad.
he's
No.
like starts coughing, and he goes, "Don't make me laugh."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I make him laugh. And then, a day later, I heard him on the phone with
Right.
somebody else, and that person started making him laugh,
Yeah,
and he
"Don't
starts
make
coughing,
me laugh."
and he goes, "Don't make me laugh."
You,
He
I'm
laughs
like-
at it, but he laughs at anything. That you see what I'm getting at?
Yes.
no, you
Right.
shouldn't be sensitive about that. You're the only funny person in the world?
Yeah.
No.
No, I used to be flattered that Rick thought I was funny. Then I realized
No, that's not. No, that's not true. No, that's not true. That's not true. I think you guys are the funniest people I
We
know.
are
Rick.
fun,
No,
Rick.
really,
We're good
really.
people.
And we
Right.
laugh.
No, that
and
is true.
laugh
That's
and
true.
laugh.
Listen, for adults, we do all right.
Right.
Older adults, we're getting older.
Yeah. Oh, I'm ancient, man.
Yeah, I'm not
I
feeling.
feel
What's
it
your
every
social security
day.
number? 2.
And
The Roman numeral,
yeah,
too, right?
I had to wait in line. Yeah, it's on a stone tablet. Does that do anything for you?
Chiseled into the mountain.
Oh boy! So we started off our show, or started off when we saw each other before the show, and said we are going to get right down to business today.
4 minutes and 49 seconds we're into real estate.
That's not bad because we have dragged out like 22 minutes of joking and fun and games, and Rick Nazzaro is all business
All
when
business.
he's
All
not
business.
entertaining the crowd with his jokes.
Here's what it is. we have real estate to tend to. There's closings. You know, we got to get
Yeah,
to.
it's busy. We got to get
busy.
going.
You guys actually have jobs.
Well, they do. They
I
do,
can't.
Tony.
You and I can't.
No.
We'd stay here all day.
I was in today.
Yeah,
though.
you went to the office.
Well,
today?
at 10:15, I went in.
And left at 11:45.
She's exhausted.
I don't know how you do it. You just dig deep.
You know how I do it? Because Renee and Ronell are at the office covering me.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
Hi, guys.
That's right. That's right.
Because they're watching us.
Of course, working hard, watching us. Right.
Rick Nazzaro, we got to learn about
Yes.
the trends of real estate because I think we had you on a few months ago in trends we were expecting.
Wait, you changed pages on me.
I told you that.
Okay.
I told you. I gave you the order.
How long is the show? She's got 19
Don't touch
pages.
this stuff.
All right.
This is why we don't have guests on.
This is why.
Because they start beating up the guests.
That's right. That's right.
Listen,
that's right.
I'm gonna weigh in here. Since you guys started bringing papers, that's when it's all gone to hell. Since you come with agendas, you got things, it's all gone.
Well, when we were on the radio,
Yeah.
Rick would write it down on like a napkin.
Right.
Well,
right,
you know,
Back of a
Tony,
file.
it's when I do an open house.
Yes.
Like Sunday, I did an open house, new listing, right?
Yeah.
Must have had 50 couples.
No way.
Really?
But there's always that one couple with the binder.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And has already done all their research.
I already hate them when they come
Sure,
in.
you're not
Yeah.
buying the house.
Because, you know, it's just come in, get a feel for the... I don't hate them. I
Well,
say
how about
that.
we give
The
a shout
problem
out
is-
to the couple that has the binder? You are not getting that house that you looked at on
Well,
Sunday.
they're their own
that's actually
worst
great
enemy,
points.
kidding aside. Because they're not... They come in with their head down to take notes. You need to feel the house, see the house. It's not all about the age of the roof and the age of the heat.
What is it called? The feng shui?
You need a feeling. You have to feel as though you can
wanna be
live
there.
in this house.
Right.
Right.
When you're not focused on that, but instead the
numbers.
details
numbers,
before you
the
even
data.
know that you
Right.
are going to be
All right,
interested
can we
in
ask you
house.
this then?
Yeah.
Because that's actually interesting. Somewhere buried in here is actually one of those questions.
Okay.
Do you actually so that buyer is probably prejudiced in your mind then? Would you accept say their offer was comparable to someone else's offer?
Yes.
I
in
think
this,
you're right.
In this way, if I'm representing the seller in this situation, and I know I have several offers, if I have an offer from a couple who say writes the letter about my dog can't wait to play in the yard, but I have an offer from the couple with the notebook, the measuring tape, and the golf ball to make sure the floor is straight.
Life is going to be difficult.
Listen, all things being equal,
right. I agree.
I would say to my seller, this is a very nice couple. They couldn't wait to put the Christmas tree up. This couple came in. They measured every shingle, everything. They, you know,
and they're going
inspections.
to drive you crazy.
So you know the closing's going to go like that.
Inspections,
the home inspection's going to go like that.
They're going to be torturous at the home inspection. They're going to be potentially difficult to get to closing. In the seller, you know, we'll make a decision based on that information. But I can tell in 2 minutes who's going to be tough.
So you're actually, as opposed to the buyer critiquing that house, you're actually critiquing that buyer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying a buyer shouldn't do their homework. They should, but there's a time and a place.
Right.
Well, it's after you walk in,
And generally,
you get
I
the good
kid with them.
feeling, right?
I usually kid with them. They'll come to the door and I'll go, "Oh God, there's always one with a notebook. It's going to be you." You know, and they're like, "Yep, that's us," and they're taking pictures of everything. You know.
You know what you
They
say?
might as well say, we are the biggest pain in the ass you're ever going to
Right.
be.
Right.
You know what you say? You go, luckily this place has a fireplace, and that'll make good kindling.
Toss it right in.
I know I've probably said this 1,000 times, but when we first did the radio show and we had a broker come on, and I didn't know the broker at all, and brought on, when you talk about a binder, it had to be 4-inch binder of all the stats of the North Shore and what was selling and what wasn't selling.
Well, yeah, he thought he was doing a real estate show. You can't blame him. It was in the title.
We know better.
When we gave him a shot at it, we said, this is more of a conversational type of thing, and then he brought it out again, and Tony says, I'll take it, and he sat on it for the rest of the show.
And the guy didn't say another word.
Another word. We've never seen him since there.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this then.
Yes.
Do you actually gauge the buyer agent too? Do you say, this buyer agent doesn't seem to have their buyers prepped that much? a buyer agent should have a pre-approval letter. They should have a little checklist.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily know that until an offer was made, but
you
yes,
probably know
but
what buyer agents are good or not.
When offers are made, if I get half the paperwork from one and when I say complete, I mean the lead paint is signed, the agency disclosure is signed, the copy of the check is there, the pre-approval is there. Complete.
Right.
Other times you get just the offer, no attachments, no lead paint, no disclosure. I don't know if they've seen the seller's disclosure because it's not coming to me signed off. To me, they could be a lovely buyer, but I again will say to the seller, it's not your issue. But I have a feeling this broker is going to be tough in that maybe they're not going to return my call in timely fashion because I'm steering that ship.
Right.
I need the cooperation of the other agent.
And that's why me and you get along so good, right? You
2 seconds.
You call and we jump. Right?
2 seconds.
Yep.
Right.
And that's just how I am. I like everything done yesterday in that I'm very detail oriented.
Well, and it's really not all about you and us, but it's the bottom line is we all collectively want to get that seller the price that they want and get them to the end of the road.
But it is a little bit about me in that when that seller hires me, they've interviewed me, they've interviewed 2 or 3 other people potentially. So when they've hired me, because I've now gone in and said, this is how I operate. I'm detailed. There's not going to be a flower out of place in your house. There's not going to be a piece of paperwork without an initial. This is how I work. So if I'm selected based on that presentation, then I have to let them know we could have a hiccup here because you know what? Joe Smith is not as effective as me. I can only get so much from him. So if I'm a little late,
it's his.
Yeah. Right.
All right. So
then it makes it you look bad if we don't get to the end result in the timely fashion.
Exactly.
All right, so let's ask you about your presentation then, because none of these are on any of these questions we've asked in here. But like a presentation, as usual. So that presentation, what has sellers been asking you lately? How do they critique you? I've been hearing that they're actually looking into the analytics of a selling broker. In other words, this broker sold it, a week quicker than another broker, or at 103%. Do they look into that stuff now?
Yeah, some do. They'll look at the number of transactions a broker has done in the community. So if that's a good number, then they'll look to see how are those listings presented. So they'll go online and look what's his or her style in terms of writing up about my house. How are their photographs? Did the house sell for what percentage in relation to the asking price? They do look at those.
So
stats.
they do look at it.
Not all.
Right.
Some do. The older, a lot of that is how the younger people look into things today. The older people, I tend to hear different things. Oh, I've seen your sign around. I got
Or you have the reputation in town,
I got your mailing. You sold my
neighbor's more old
house.
Fashioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like my mother used to say years ago. If my parents had a roof done on their house, my mother would say, watch, they'll all have new roofs by the end of the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And sure enough, the guy that did my parents' roof, he'd be now next door. He'd be across the street. Because they figured, if they're good enough for them, they're good enough for us.
Our landscaper started with us and mowing our lawn. Now he does every house in the neighborhood. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why, again, the detail.
Word of mouth.
I tell my sign guy, if you're going to put a sign up, it's got to be straight. It's got to be clean. It can't be bent because you're judged on every single thing that we put out.
Uniforms. Let's go back to uniforms.
I'm thinking of that shirt right there.
Yeah. What would be wrong with this?
I love that uniform.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Where'd you get it?
Well, I can't tell.
See, now we can't copy you. You're supposed to share information.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Burlington Coat Factory.
Oh.
The Coat Factory.
By now it's just Burlington now.
Yeah, Burlington.
Which confuses the hell out of me.
Right.
Because it's
Why?
a city.
Because we're still going to call it Burlington Coat Factory, right?
But then it becomes like a Who's on First sketch.
Yeah.
Where'd you get your shirt? Burlington. Yeah, what store? That's what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, you went to Burlington. Yes, I did. And you went into a store. What was the store? Burlington. Not the name of the city. No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. See that's why I don't get started.
And when you wore that shirt,
so you just say, I don't know.
I had an audition, so I needed this. Yeah.
So when you went to the concert, who did you see? Yeah, you saw the
Who.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Who?
Right. Here we go. That's what I'm saying.
It's like when people are from Ware, New Hampshire. That's my favorite line.
Yeah. Where?
They're like, oh, where do you live?
Where? That's what I'm asking.
Where?
Everything is a potential Who's on First. This is what I'm trying to tell you. You went to a store. Yes.
Athol is one of my favorite.
Athol's a good one.
I mean, you could do a whole routine on just that.
Entering
Athol.
Yeah. You know it from Athol?
Don't paint her a picture. Yeah.
Started. Okay.
I like when the national ads are doing for cities around here, Woburn and
you can always tell when they Haverhill and Woburn.
Yeah.
And Hyannis.
And Hyannis. Sure.
All right. So the trends nowadays.
See that on a giraffe at the zoo.
Right.
Ed Sullivan, you can write that one down. That's the first idea.
I got it.
So
he's got it.
So here, a few months ago, we were saying rates are going to be rising this year. They're at a 12-month low.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So I think that helps not obviously the buyers.
Yes.
I was, and some bank was telling me, so someone could buy a few months ago a $200,000 house. Now they can get $216,000. So incrementally. Yeah, exactly. Because
where are they getting a $216,000 house is what I want to know.
Yeah, I know. That was the start of it. And then you obviously the multiplier if you buy a $600,000 house. So you'd think that just only helps the buyers, but it helps the sellers.
Of course it does.
Well, it keeps the values up.
Yeah,
it keeps the values up. Keeps more buyers in the market. Mm-hmm. So it seems like, from what I'm talking, the millennials are still the major pool of buyers now, from what I'm hearing. But they seem like they are so jaded from last year. I've been talking to a bunch, and they say, we don't even want to go through that again.
Right. They're signing a one-year lease. They're out for a year at least.
Right. But your clientele is mostly that second and third. You've dealt with these people forever, so you're not getting that first-time home buyer. So it's hard for you to really...
Some, but I'm still seeing a lot of traffic, but less urgency.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
yes.
A year ago,
yes.
I may have had the 50 showings and had 10 offers.
Right.
I have offers due today on the listing by 3 o'clock. We had a lot of activity. I've heard from one or two agents.
Okay, so so they're not going to get $100,000 over asking price. They're going to get a full price offer, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So let me ask you about that, too.
Which is a little bit different.
Your strategies on, what's the best day to put an open house together? I mean, not an open house, to list a house.
I typically...
Is it Thursday?
Are any other brokers watching? Turn off your TV.
Rick doesn't like to give out trade.
Now he's gonna give false information.
Yes.
Best day is...
You think you should list it on a
Christmas
Sunday.
Day is the best. Mother's Day and Christmas are the best days to list.
And July 4th.
July 4th and at midnight.
Saturday night, midnight. Perfect time to list a house.
Right.
Have a couple of drinks, sit down at your computer, list a house.
Yeah, and do it by yourself.
Take your own pictures.
Yeah.
Put it on Facebook, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Get your iPhone out. You're right.
As a matter of fact, don't take pictures. Get a caricature artist. Just have them do
this is what we're hoping it looks like.
Right.
Tony, I have an idea.
Go ahead.
Videos with your voice in the back. Come into the nice kitchen.
You have a lovely kitchen over here with a beautiful island.
And some pie.
It's a beautiful stove for cooking pies. The refrigerator is double doored.
Oh, Tony, listen, I'll talk to you after the show.
All right.
Now I forgot what his question was.
When's the best time to list?
So generally, you seasonally or like...
No, during the week.
All right. I tend to
then I got to ask you about offers.
I like to put a house on the market on a Thursday.
Right.
And some will say, well, Rick, broker tours are on Thursday, so you need to put it on Tuesday or Wednesday so it's out there for... Broker tours, to me, waste of time.
They're gonna already know about it, right?
Unless you want lunch.
Yeah, the way that houses
lunch.
Or you can come to a Carter Law Office seminar and get a free lunch. So
the way that was good, by the way. The way houses are put out there today, brokers know what they're showing. If it's still available, you can do a broker tour.
Because in the old days, they used to literally have caravans.
Right.
But here's the reason I like to put it on a Thursday. Most buyers are going to look at a new listing on a Friday night after work or over the weekend.
Right.
If I put a house on the market on Monday, it's going to sit. I have now accumulated.
They've lost 5 days.
Days on market. The clock is ticking.
Yep.
And the house is sitting there for 5 days with nothing. So put it on. I like to put it on and then have the showings.
So when you say days on market, what do you mean by that? Is that does it actually show? I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But there's actually something on MLS.
On MLS,
right?
That will show a buyer's agent or their client how long a house has been on the market.
And the longer it's been on the market, the less desirable it becomes.
The less of an offer you're going to put in, right? So if you see something on the market for 193 days, you're not putting in full price.
You're coming at 50,000 under.
Right.
Now, when can you start? I know we're jumping around. I'm shocked by this, but when can you restart that number of days on the market?
Well, MLS rules are.
What are their rules?
If you take it off the market,
yep,
you have to cancel it as opposed to withdrawn. I mean, that's just a
technicality.
Yep.
60 days. It has to be off for 60.
Okay.
And then it comes back on as a new
When you put it back on, the clock will start back at 0 days. However, a good buyer's agent can do a market history.
Okay.
Yeah, and see that it was
on an address, and they can see that it was on and came off.
Oh, this has been listed 6 times, right, for 180 days.
So the history doesn't go away. It's just not in your face.
Right, you have to look for the information.
Right. Whereas if somebody else has a property listed for 90 days and then I list it the next day, my clock starts at 91 days.
Right.
Now, when you put on, and again, we're jumping around a little bit, but the worst ads are always when it says new price. I mean, do you ever? That's like the kiss of death.
In a market where buyers are used to seeing houses sell pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Either a long time frame is a killer.
Yep.
Or if you have to reduce
the price.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's either a reflection of the broker priced it wrong to begin with, or many times the seller will dictate.
Will push. They'll have a higher price.
Right. I was going to ask you about that too.
Well, that's one of your things when the seller interviews you, you're interviewing them because you want to run. You're driving that bus. And you know how to price a house in your environment, in your town.
Right.
So you know what you're going to put it on for, and if they want to do it $50,000 over, and then you have to reduce it, it makes you look bad.
Right. It makes it harder for everybody. The situation just doesn't always turn out as good as you had hoped.
Yeah, lower the price.
But it's interesting. I have a house coming on next week where I was one of 3 agents that they called. And generally that's the case. But not every seller is forthcoming with who came and what their strategy is or what their pricing is. These people couldn't wait to tell me everything because I'm like, talking to here, right? So we did have different...
so what were the different strategies?
Well, I'm putting this house on for $729,900. I think it's a $750 house.
Yep.
I said, let's go a little bit under. We get the activity.
Get the auction effect.
Because it's still low inventory.
Yep.
The house has a lot of pluses that I think people look for. They had prices from $689
oh my God.
to like $759. So as a seller, now you can't blame. These are all agents from my town.
But they want to get that listing.
Yeah. Well, right.
So everybody had a different. She's like, Rick, this one said this much.
Hold that.
They just
believed. I gotta
ask
that too.
They just thought that my approach made more sense. Like they said, if we were a buyer, I think this is the approach we would look at. So they go with
related to Tony's.
Yeah.
Do brokers list the house at a certain price just to get the listing as opposed to selling the house?
Sometimes the mistake sellers make is they will often list with the highest price and the lowest commission.
Yeah.
Right.
And they usually end up sitting there for the longest time.
Well, what is that saying? You get what you pay for?
Yeah.
Well, you
kind of.
Yeah. I mean, when you list with an agent who offered you a discounted commission rate,
right,
and we'll take it at any price.
Right. Guess what? It's built into your price.
Any price.
Right.
Any price is built in.
So it's a recipe for non-success.
What do most people do for? I know none of these are on our sheets.
I know, so we'll have to have Rick.
Okay. I mean, we took
no, that's all right. No, I like the stuff. So what do most brokers have as a part of their commission? Do they include photography? Do they include staging?
Well, everybody's different. There's no.
Okay.
You know, I mean,
is that something a seller should be asking a broker then?
And
right?
they
what
do.
What are you going to include for that commission?
In fact, that listing that I just mentioned was the first one who asked me to be specific on my contract because we agreed on a commission rate.
Yeah.
And in my presentation, I said, you know, I take care of the photographer and the staging, what have you, in this particular instance.
That comes out of you.
Correct.
The commission.
That's part of your deal.
Yeah.
Right.
So she said, could you put in the list? So somebody else must have said to them.
Make sure you get it in writing.
Well, either that or
they didn't offer it.
Carte blanche. Or
we'll do a reduced commission because some will do a reduced fee, but they want to be paid up front for certain services.
Right.
So I don't typically do that.
Yeah.
So she wanted in that listing that my upfront expenses are included in the fee, and if the house doesn't sell, you know, they don't owe me.
Right.
They don't know anything.
As a broker, you get critiqued more. As an attorney's office, I don't think I can count on one hand anyone ever call me saying, what's your credentials as an attorney? It's always just like through a referral.
Yeah.
Rick Nazzaro said you got to use Carter Law Office, and they go with that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's no one.
They may ask you what your fee is, or some will ask me.
something like that.
He hasn't even graduated from law school.
I know. I'm thinking of it though. Don't.
Did I just say that out loud?
The one you printed out on the computer was nice in the frame.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Just a thought. How do you feel about the coming soon to the market?
Truthfully, I think I started that.
Okay. So you clearly like it.
Yeah.
And what does that do?
Well, it builds up a little bit of a pent-up demand before you're actually opening the doors.
Okay.
So you're talking about putting a sign right out front of the house?
Yeah.
Almost.
And people put it on Facebook or they put it in other places.
I do it
coming
on everything.
Soon. Every
house in his neighborhood is coming
soon, right? Well, they all are coming at some point, right?
It's just like coming.
The other one.
How about coming eventually?
So
not quite
so that's
soon.
a good
But
point,
there are
Tony.
some people will put it up and the seasons are changing and it's still it
Well,
hasn't
that's what I was going to
arrived.
ask you. What is soon?
For me, I like to
eventually.
Well, as I mentioned,
very
I like to have
open-ended.
post a house on a Thursday, so I'll put that sign up or have it put
a week beforehand,
like Friday or Saturday. Soon meaning 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
Not 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, because
4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
During that time frame, like again, this house that I referenced is near an elementary school in a really nice neighborhood.
Can't say it.
So we're waiting for school vacation to be over.
He knows.
But my plan is
he knows liability.
I want to have that coming soon sign up
too.
by the first day of school.
Okay.
Because everybody who drops their kids off or is driving to this school instead of walking to the school, boom.
Okay.
Great promotion right
You're shooting for
So
the 12-year-olds.
tell me why the people that don't like the coming soon, why don't they like that? I've heard a broker say, "Oh, coming soon." I don't really understand why they don't like that.
Truthfully, I don't either.
Okay.
I really don't.
All right, can we ask you a couple others?
It's a marketing. To sell a house, we have only a box of marketing tools. Once you start, if a seller says to me, "Oh, I'm uncomfortable with the sign," or "Oh, I don't like Facebook," when you start taking stuff
I didn't really say that.
when you start taking things away from the process, you're reducing your likelihood.
Right.
All right, for your toolbox.
Yeah.
Do you like Matterport 3D presentations? You don't seem to really need those.
I don't do them necessarily.
All right. How about, and I know I'm rapid fire because we've got about a minute. How about videos? Do you like videos? Or, this is the other one, do you like a website of that property? A website specific to that property?
You know what? I hear my phone. I have to go.
He's getting now. You're making him. You're making him anxious.
Yeah, he doesn't want to
No. I do hear my phone, so I was just kidding. I think certain houses require certain things. Do I do a video and what do you call it? A floor plan with every listing? No, it's not part of what I do. I know some houses are going to sell in 4 days.
Right.
I think photography is the better. Good photography to me
is the key.
Is
photography
the key.
and staging.
Because when somebody is sitting there looking at a listing, you want to look at a picture for a second. A video is kind of like, all right, you're out of there, then you got to back up. Or, I forget the color of that. If I can look at a nice still photo, it's
that first photo is the key, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But you can't have photo trickery. Like, like I've been to a house that you look at the photos and you're like, what a beautiful living room. It's perfect. It's a perfect size. And you walk in and you're like, I can see where they would get that picture.
Right.
But it must be the angle that made it look bigger.
You have to be suspended from the ceiling in one corner by a bungee cord.
Yeah, you want to be careful of that because
because they're going to find out eventually.
You know what you need.
Because from my vantage point, a lot of the marketing I do for listings, yes, it is to find the buyer to sell that house. But for me, from a professional standpoint, to be able to continue working, my listings, I want to get a buyer, but I want that listing to get me another listing.
Of course.
So a lot of the presentation I do, like when that lady says, are you going to include staging and photography? Yes, but you know what? Not for you so much. It's for me. I want to come dress up your house because somebody else is going to see your listing and look at it compared to another listing, and they're going to say, this guy does a nice listing.
I got another idea.
Go ahead.
I walk through the house with a GoPro on my head.
That's a great idea.
A camera on the head.
Forget Matterport.
Forget Matterport, right? Yeah. And I just do a commentary on the whole house.
I
like it.
Genius.
Yeah.
Let's
Write
do
that
it.
down.
I do like that.
I think we should end the show on that one.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Sure. I learned to skateboard too to look smoother.
And you want your seller to tell their friends that Rick Nazzaro did an amazing job. He came in and he staged, did great pictures, and they sold my house.
Look at the dump I look in.
Right?
It looks like this. This is nice.
And just so everyone knows, I'm with the three funniest people I know. Kathy Holtshouser, paralegal.
Don't make me laugh.
Don't make me laugh. Paralegal extraordinaire, Tony V.
I was too serious.
Genius.
Genius.
And
good information.
Idea Man. And Rick Nazzaro from Colonial Manor.
Thanks for having me. Carter Law. You need him.
The funniest guy we know, other than Tony V.
Yeah,
Stop it.
beautiful.
Stop it. Stop it. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.